Marhaba and hello once again. I'm American historian Dr. Jack Dempsey. Today is Saturday, August 23rd, 2025, and with me is my brother Muhammad Jihad Ismael, a Palestinian historian living and somehow surviving in Gaza. I want to thank every single person who's taken the time to listen to what Muhammad has to say. I know that we're all brothers and sisters around the world in the cause of peace in Palestine, the peace that can only come about through justice and co-equality, which is all that Muhammad has ever called for in his struggle, again, to survive and to live in freedom the way his family ancestors did in a Midland village called Shafir, which is no longer there and is replaced by a Jewish-only community. We're here to talk today, Muhammad, as you said, about the psychological situation in Gaza, how people are feeling in their mentality, their future expectations, what effect, if any, have the airdrops, the parachutes of food and aid had on people's spirits and their well-being, and also whatever you want to share about the civil war that's going on in Gaza that almost nobody knows about, almost nobody talks about. But on this channel, you have heard about it because it's deeply attributable to Hamas, the way they have killed many people over the years who have resisted their power. And now the families are coming out at this time of Hamas's weakness to seek revenge on them, as well as perhaps be a player in the post-war Palestinian power structure. So, Mohammed, thank you for listening. And I welcome you again. It is always so good to see you. Your family is largely well. You were able to find formula for your beautiful little baby daughter, Mary. Your children are hanging in there like your wife and the rest of your family. What do you want to tell us about this week, Mohammed, before we get to our larger subject? It's getting very crowded in Balah, you have told me, because of
Yes,
refugees coming from the north, from Gaza City.
yes, brother. Yeah, we have a lot of people. Thousands of families are evacuating Gaza City and coming southward to Balah. Balah, as usual, is a favorite destination for those people because Balah has a lot of ancient wells, has good area, good landscape beside the Mediterranean Sea. So today I have noticed a lot of people, a lot of crowds are coming, are moving from Gaza City, and unfortunately, the vast majority of them are moving on their feet. They are walking almost 20 kilometers.
Yes.
It is a very, very exhausting journey. Yeah. Also, you have shelling, you have so many risks at your way. So it is very, very painful journey.
And Mohammed, every time you go out of your house, you are risking your life. Every few days that you go out to find some more food, some more milk formula for Mary, water in any kind that you can get. Every time you go out, you are risking your life among artillery shells. And it must be so much more difficult now with so many refugees from Gaza City and elsewhere pouring into the Balah area, which is not quite as destroyed ultimately as the rest of Gaza, at least yet. So, what I guess we should start right there, Mohammed, with the people that you talk to, with your own family, of course, your children. What is their psychological situation now? What are they thinking and saying and feeling this very day?
Yeah. I think all the people, all the population of Gaza Strip are suffering from psychological disorders, including me, including myself, you know.
And that
I
has been
am
true
not
for a long
an
time.
exception. All of us are victims. Yeah, yeah, yeah. all of us actually are victims for the psychological and mental disorders. People are very, very broken from inside. Every family has lost at least one person, one member. Every family has lost its house, either totally or partially. Every family has came across the evacuation and the displacement from a place to another. So every family is broken from inside. People are full of fear. They are full of fear, fearing their future, their fate, the future of their children. Here in Gaza, you cannot predict. You cannot predict what will happen in the next day. Even when you sleep, you cannot expect that you will get up in the coming morning. Maybe you will be killed during your sleeping. Maybe you will have a shrapnel at your head, exactly like what happened with my wife Gada and Jojo when a big shrapnel has landed on the pillow, exactly between their heads.
Yes, and ladies and
I
gentlemen,
think it was a miracle.
you can
Yeah, yeah,
see that
yeah.
at our web WordPress pages. It's at jackdempseywriter.wordpress.com, jackdempseywriter.wordpress.com. We publish photos, Muhammad's accounts and emails and writings, and you can see photographs of these large chunks of shrapnel, steel, jagged steel. It came through the window, through the side of the house, rather, and landed right on the pillow between Muhammad's wife and his son. It was simply a miracle that they weren't both killed. And this is the kind of stress that people are facing every single day. As Muhammad, even well before the war, we've known each other about 6 years now. And Muhammad, I remember so well as we first got to know each other, you just didn't know from day to day what was going to happen to you, where your next meal was going to come from, how long you could sustain yourself and your family in the simple skills of survival. No water, no electricity, no virtually no medicines, food as scarce and expensive as can be. People in the West, the consumer society in the West, Muhammad, I must tell you, they cry a lot about how difficult it is to live here. But then they have everything. Everything is basically still working. But in Gaza, nothing. Nothing. I don't know how people bear up under this for years. For as long as I've known you, it's been like this, Muhammad.
Yes, yeah, yes, brother. Of course, you are right. Yeah, people actually are full of anxiety. They doesn't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks as though Muhammad's signal has frozen. This is a virtually constant hazard of our attempted communications and discussions. It would seem that somebody, whether it's Hamas or Israel or the United States or both or somebody else, doesn't particularly like our communicating and doesn't particularly like the things that Muhammad has to say, which are against war as a foreign policy, against any idea other than living together on the land in peace, as they did in his ancestral village, Shafir. Every major town in Palestine before 1948 had a mosque, a temple, and a church. These are architectural evidences of coexistence. Look at the film on YouTube called The Land Speaks Arabic. The Land Speaks Arabic. You will hear from ancestors, elders on all sides that really nobody cared what your religion was. People lived together as neighbors, largely in peace, as they do around the world, more or less every day. And then 1948 happened, the Nakba, the catastrophe that began the Zionist war on Palestine, which has never relented since then. Muhammad's talking as I wait for him to return because he virtually always does. Muhammad's talking now from an environment where the one public government-backed source of food, aid, and any other help is coming from Rafah and these absurdly tiny enclaves where people must line up like animals and fight for the food that they're able to get each and every day. And the number of people shot to death while doing this peaceful activity or trying to is 8,163 since the end of May. Since the end of May, 8,000 people shot to death, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds more wounded. Muhammad, I was talking about Rafah. And tell me what people hear about Rafah, Muhammad, that makes them want to stay in Balah and take their chances there as you are doing. What do people hear about Rafah, and does it
Yeah,
make
I
you
think
want to stay there?
I think Rafah has followed the Atlantis continent, the lost continent of Atlantis.
Why do you say that?
Rafah is totally, Rafah is totally lost. It is a lost city. If you visit Rafah, you will not find one single house is standing.
I have
One
seen
single
photographs showing
house.
exactly
One,
that. It is
yeah,
leveled. It is leveled.
yeah, yeah. One single palm tree, one single olive tree. Uh, nothing is standing. Everything is destroyed.
And Mohammed,
It is totally flat.
does anybody in Balah, do any of the people around you there in Balah talk about trying to go to Rafah to get food? Or do they talk about trying to go there, or are they very afraid to go there?
Right now, it's not clear. Most of people who are coming from Gaza City are preferring to stay in Balah because Balah right now is a secure area comparing to Rafah. Rafah has no infrastructure. You cannot build your tents. You cannot build tents over the mountains of rebels. It is not a flat ground. There is no water pipes, no infrastructure in Rafah. So Balah is more suitable for the people who are looking to build their tents.
Yes. And Mohammed, it seems as though when I asked you recently about your ability to get food and water every few days, I asked you if it's more difficult, and you said yes, because of the greater crowds involved. There are more people demanding more resources, and so the resources get depleted very quickly. But is that the case then? You're having more trouble when you go out to find food and water, brother?
Yes. It is a very exhausting task. If you want to get food, you have to wander on your feet several kilometers trying to find goods. We haven't abundance of food displayed in the market. No, it is a scarce amount of food. So you have to make a lot of work, a lot of effort in order to find food. It's not easy. Also, you have to make negotiation with the seller, with the merchant, because
Yes,
prices are high. Prices are very high.
very
Yeah.
high. Yes.
Uh, yeah. For instance, if you want to buy 1 kilogram of wheat flour, you have to pay 20 shekels. 20 shekels are equivalent to $6.
For 1 kilo, $6 for wheat. And Mohammed, also,
Yeah.
when we talk about the state of mind of people in Balah and in Gaza, as you know it, there is also a political dimension to that. Do they talk? politics much? Do they talk about Hamas? Do they talk about the political situation? Is there any hope? Do they have any hope of a political resolution, brother?
Most of people are keeping silent. They doesn't talk. Not fearing from Hamas, not fearing from Israel, but because they felt with a lot of boredom. They are sobered. They doesn't want to talk in politics. They lost every hope. So they prefer to keep silent and just to fight for their survival, just to fight for their food. Yeah, so this is the situation of the people. They are only looking for the food, for the medicine. Also, here in Gaza, if you have a patient in your family, a patient who's suffering from a chronic disease, you have to make a lot of work, a lot of efforts in order to find painkillers, to find some paracetamol, to find some vitamins, to find some other kinds of medicine. It is very, very awful task. It's not easy to find medicine here in Gaza.
Of
Medicine
course.
is scarce and expensive.
Of course. And Mohammed, yet another side of people's psychological state, their complete despair, the feeling that there is no horizon for them, there is no least expectation of relief. They don't know what is going to happen. Now, let's look at a couple of the facts about the situation and what we can expect is that if Israel succeeds in clearing all the people from Gaza City and sending them southward, they are going to pass through Balah. That is going to disturb your well-being again. And then they get to Balah. But as you know, as we've had a GoFundMe going, and we hope people will look at under the more information here to try to help Muhammad, as you'll understand, his family has democratically decided that there is no hope, there is no future here. We want to leave. But so far, as far as either Muhammad or myself or anybody we consult knows, there is no effort whatsoever, no activity whatsoever being made by Israel, the occupying power, to facilitate people's emigration. They are doing nothing to prepare to move 2.3 million people out of Gaza without preparation. Does that mean into the sea? Does that mean through the Rafah gate into Egypt, where they are not wanted anyway, and the Egyptian military is waiting for them? What happens then? Mohammed, what do people think is going to happen at last when they have driven all the people to Rafah? What then? You hear me?
Yes, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, brother. Yeah. People are expecting this scenario at every moment. They are expecting to be forced to go to Rafah, and after that, maybe they will be forced to infiltrate Sinai, to infiltrate the Egyptian borders, and to go to Egypt. We have this scenario at our minds. People are fearing this scenario, and it is possible. Of course, it is possible. We might have this scenario in the future. Yeah, people are waiting any opportunity to immigrate. Of course, not all the people of Gaza, but the majority. The majority are saying, if we were given the opportunity to travel, of course, we will never miss this opportunity. We are going to flee. We are going to escape because it is a matter of existence. You have to search for your existence, to secure the existence for yourself, your wife, your children, your elders, your family. Yeah. So people, of course, are preferring to escape away and not to be killed, not to be smashed. here under the bombs.
Yes, and again, it's simply beyond imagination when people talk about the madness that is driving this entire scenario. You're talking about 2.3 million people compressed into what, 10%, 15% of the entire Gaza landscape. And then what? And then what? There is no evidence whatever of Israel making any arrangements. Maybe ships to transport people somewhere, maybe vehicles or the ability to take care of, to nourish and give water to 2.3 million people while they wait or while they move into the Sinai, probably under Egyptian fire. The debacle that seems to be coming, Muhammad, even from here, way far away in Crete, it's terrifying. It looks like a complete stop of the story in only the worst way.
Yes, yes, brother. Yeah, yeah. It is a very, very horrific scenario. If Israelis are going to implement it, I think it will be so painful. It will be so awful for the Palestinians. Let us talk first of all about the first stage of this scenario, which is moving the people from Gaza City to southward. Gaza City now has almost 1 million population.
Yes,
Gaza City is a very narrow geographical zone. It is very little area of land.
uh-huh,
It has now 1 million. 1 million, you are talking about more than the population of Crete. 1 million people
of
now
course.
are facing this fate. They are going in the coming few days. They are going to be forced to move southward. So I think we have this first stage. After that, I think we have the second stage, which is moving people from Balah to the south. It will be the second stage of this scenario. Yeah. Now, the second stage will be more painful because we will have more than 2 million of the people
Yes.
will make the second and the last stage. It will be moving to Rafah, you know. So now this scenario, as I told you, has two stages. The first stage is about to start. It will start in a few days. We are talking about a new Nakba. It is a new Nakba.
And it is a worse Nakba than before, because anybody who looks now for
Of course.
pictures of Rafah, you will see an absolutely level landscape. There are no standing buildings, there are no streets, they're filled with rubble, and beyond that is a beach area and the sea. So where do you put 2.3 million people? Do they sit shoulder to shoulder on the sand dune somewhere and pray to the Lord that food drops from the sky? That Egypt opens its welcoming arms? How likely is that? And there is no other evident preparation by Israel for an exodus like this, if you'll pardon the use of such expression. It's like another exodus
Yes,
in
yes.
reverse.
Yeah, exactly. In reverse. Yeah, moving contrary from Palestine to Sinai, not from Sinai to Palestine, as what happened in the journey of Moses and Aaron. Yeah, Rafah now is a no man land. It is a no man land. Maybe people doesn't know that Rafah is a very historical and very ancient city.
It
It
is.
was built in the fall of the Bronze Age. It was built in the end of the Bronze Age. So it is a very ancient city.
And
It
Muhammad,
was the
Muhammad, you are
time. It
sorry to interrupt you,
was,
but
yeah,
you are a
yeah.
historian, and when you had been driven from Balah to Rafah many months ago, and you lived there in a horrifying situation in a tent, you wrote an essay called "Whisper to a Broken Pillar." The pillar of your tent had broken, and your speaker in the writing was speaking to this about your condition and a lot about the history of Rafah. It is very ancient. And now the people have
Yeah.
returned there in what you call the end of Gaza. This is a 9,000
Yes,
year
yes,
old
brother.
story. This is a 9,000-year-old human heritage that is being wiped off the map for hotels and casinos and parking lots and apartment buildings by the
Yes,
sea for God's chosen people. I am sitting here
yes,
today,
yes,
Mohammed,
brother.
and it
Yeah,
is all beyond even imagining.
yeah, yeah. What I wanted to mention that Rafah now is a no man land. This is happening for the first time in history since the establishment of this city, of this ancient city. Rafah was from the early dawn of history, was the canal, the gate, which connect Asia with Africa. For the first time in its history, Rafah has become a no man land. People should understand that this city is very important. This city is very historical.
Yes. Yes, and it was always a crossroads for Egyptian traders and armies, Canaanite peoples who went back and forth, the Philistines, the Phoenicians, the Edomites. Many, many people used to mix and mingle and intermarry and more or less had a coexistence worked out. It is only since the Israelites arrived in that land, ancient times and now, that there has been so much trouble. I'm sorry if that sounds racist
Yes,
or something, but let's look at the history honestly. The trouble always began with them, it seems. There were wars, there were
yeah,
murders, there was corruption, on and on, all the human cavalcade of miseries, but it was never like this. It was never like
yeah,
this. Mohammed, as our
yes,
time goes, I think we should save the current civil war in Gaza for our next discussion, which we'll do very soon. Is there anything
yes,
else
yes,
you'd like
brother.
to, is there anything else you'd like to talk about in terms of, well, people's psychological state, what they are thinking about, what they are experiencing, and what happens
Yeah,
next
yeah,
for you? Please.
yes, yes, brother. Yeah, I want to say that people, unfortunately, are full of despair. A lot of people are dreaming to die. Unfortunately, I am meeting a lot of people. They are asking me, Muhammad, why God doesn't take our souls right now? Why our souls are kept inside our bodies right now? We have to fly in the skies, in the heavens. We have to get rid of this painful life. Unfortunately, a lot of people are dreaming to die, and they started to feel envious toward the people who die. They want to die instead of them. They want to lay beside them at their graves. It is very, very black mentality, and I am sorry to find a lot of people are sharing those black thoughts.
And Mohammed, we've been having conversations like this for over 5 years, I think almost 60 programs now. And this has always been the case in Gaza because of the conditions imposed by Israel. The blockade, you're all locked in, you're on a diet set by your captors. That suicide rates were very high in Gaza well before the war, well before October 7th. Many Palestinian people in Gaza were committing suicide. I remember our discussions about it. So I can't imagine
Yeah,
how much worse it is now.
yes, yes, brother. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Situation is painful, and people are being driven to madness. They are standing on the brink, on the on the brink of madness. They are not happy with this painful life.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me close by asking you to look under more information here to see the GoFundMe we have set up to try to facilitate in some way Muhammad's family's ability to emigrate out of this living nightmare, this hell. You can also see a lot more about the family, their past, the home they tried to build in Balah over many years of our friendship at jackdempseywriter.wordpress.com. jackdempseywriter@wordpress.com, and we'll put a link to the latest pages in there. Muhammad has called it his family album, and we're very proud to be a part of that because it tells so much of their story. Brother, we love you. Please stay safe. I hope you have great luck hunting food and water. My God, I can't believe the things we say here. And we will talk again very soon about the civil war conditions that make things even worse in Gaza. Take good
Yes,
care of
yes, brother.
yourself.
This talk to be continued in the next time by talking about the civil chaos or civil war. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, brother. We love you.
We love you too. Thank you. Thank you, brother.